This podcast is about how friendships can sometimes turn out not to be as close and as respectful as you think they are. You might end up finding out that your friends are not your friends and they are frenemies. So what do I mean by frenemies? Frenemies is one of the newly coined terms we've been using, I would reckon, for the last couple of years. And obviously it's coined from the word friends, joined to the word enemies. And it doesn't take a great genius to work out that previously you thought this person was a close ally, a close companion, a close guarded associate that perhaps kept all your secrets, all your, intimate details, and then you'd find out they're not. Obviously, all of us have various different friendships in our life. Starting from childhood, we have, sort of close friendships. We have friendship groups, friendship circles. Some of us keep ourselves isolated to perhaps just having one or two close friends. Some of us have large groups. And we go through different cycles of experience where we learn this is the friend that we want, this is the friend we don't want, and sadly when we get betrayed, we learn our different boundaries and we learn what we are willing to accept and what we are willing to withstand. There are times in our close friendship groups, I guess, where we can forgive, we can forget. And then there are other occasions where, they've crossed the line, they've crossed the bar. There's things we just really can't forgive or forget or move on from, And friendship dynamics change because of that as well. Obviously, as you get older, in your teenage years, in your adult years, your circle of friends gets smaller. Now, this is because life is changing. Your events in your life are changing. You might be going to university, college, work. You might be moving to different places, different countries. There are times when some friendships that you have, you can pick up the phone. You can start off as if you spoke to them yesterday. And really, in reality, you hadn't been in touch for like 2-3 years. Now, that's a good, solid friendship right there. That's a friendship where you can pick up where you left off. And the two of you respect each other enough to know that, that bond is still there, the love is still there, the care is still there. However, what happens when you've got someone within your inner circle who has been a close friend and you have let them into particular secrets, particular personal things that you didn't really want anyone else to know, and they end up betraying you, And this is where you discover that, like I said at the start, that this person is actually not a friend, they're a frenemy. Now, we all have people within our lives that we trust with certain things, with certain topics, with sensitive data, I guess. You could link this to now all the privacy issues that are going on in the world. There are some things that we don't want, for example, out there on social media. There's some things we don't want to disclose to certain people. But when we're having personal issues or life issues, or just even sometimes there's something about our work or whatever it is that's happening with you in your particular life, there is that one person that you trust above all others to divulge personal, confidential, private issues to. And that is someone that you perhaps call a best friend or a close friend. And, over time, you learn whether you can trust that person to keep that data or keep that information private. There are times when maybe you just want to sound off some of the issues that you have. Perhaps you also just want some advice, or you just want someone to hear you and your thoughts and to acknowledge them, not necessarily to criticize, to judge, or to give you their advice, but just purely you want to get things off your chest, so to speak. Now, it takes a special person for you to be able to do that with, It doesn't happen overnight. It's someone, like I said, you have to really feel that you've got that close bond, and it's someone that you love and respect, and someone that you believe, not think, but you believe is not going to betray you. They're not going to go and tell all the other people that you know within your network your private business. Now, obviously, these things do happen. These things do occur where you find out that that particular friend isn't the friend you thought they were. Now, certain scenarios, certain situations will occur. There might be pivotal points in your moment of your life where you have to draw the line. and realize that this particular person that you've trusted, that you've thought was, supportive of you, and as the colloquial expression is, they've got your back, they betray you, and they betray you to the point where there's personal things that you might have divulged and they're sharing it with everybody else, or they're wanting another person's opinion about the actions you at the moment are taking. Now, you might not have shared that with other people. You might not even have a close bond with the other person that they're sharing private things that you've shared with, and they are disclosing it to everybody, which is upsetting. And, we all have limits. We all have particular points we can tolerate, things we can understand, things that, we really don't want anyone knowing. Now, it's not about a safety issue. It's not as if your mental health is at a state where really other people need to get concerned. But these are just private matters you might have discussed or disclosed. And within, a certain period of time, you find out they've disclosed that information to others and want their opinion on it. Now, you have to sit back and you have to think to yourself, understandably, you're going to be upset. Understandably, you're going to be angry and annoyed. But you have to sit back and think to yourself, why do that? Is that person really a friend? Is that person really supporting me, my needs, what I want in life, what I'm searching for? Is that person loyal to me? Is that person supportive of my decisions, of my life, of the things that I'm doing? Whether they think it's right or wrong or indifferent. The point is that as a friend, you should listen compassionately. You should not judge. You should not be giving your 2 pence worth and your personal input. You're trying to give them some advice that's from a non-biased point, not a judgmental point. But also, if a friend's made a particular, decision that you don't agree with, whatever it is, whatever the circumstances, as a friend, we might find it, worrying for the other individual. We might be thinking, no, we don't think you should be doing that for your life. But there are ways and means of saying it, where you're not coming across as being judgmental. Now, when the friend obviously is betraying you like that, you realise this is not a friend anymore. This is now a frenemy. This is someone that really doesn't have my concerns at heart. This is not someone who's concerned about me. If anything, they have their own personal agenda. And sadly, it takes situations like that for you to realise that this friend is not the person I thought they were. The love, the compassion, the kindness, the caring side of me that has always looked out for them is standing back now and reflecting upon our relationship and reflecting upon what our relationship or friendship was actually about. Because it's clear you're actually not a friend, you're a frenemy. And, it takes a lot of people to stab you in the back. Sometimes it comes from people you really didn't expect, like close friends. And you do have to take a step back. You do have to say to yourself, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to have you within my circle of network anymore. I might keep you at a distance. I might love you from a distance. But to be fair, this relationship is not part of my life anymore. You're not part of my network anymore. Because understandably, you've broken barriers. You've broken rules. You've broken codes between us as friends, where you've gone out of your way to show your real side, and we don't want people that are enemies in our life. We keep people that are enemies at a distance, whether it's a personality clash, whether their views of thinking are different from ours, or just their whole mindset is completely different to ours. The dynamics might be very different as well. And it can be quite an eye-opener to see that the person that you've shared personal stuff with, and you thought were on the same wavelength as you, I guess, is actually not, They're actually quite realistically like a lot of people you don't personally want to associate with, and you have to step away. Some of us will keep trying and trying and trying to mend and, build that friendship. Personally, for me, if you've crossed that line, you've crossed that line and that's it, I'm done. Like I said, some people are not like that. Some people will keep trying to mend that friendship and keep trying to repair and build and move forward from it. And then there are individuals like me that realise that once you're in that frenemy zone, that's it, I'm done. Now, obviously, we're all at different stages of that. And I said, earlier, different levels of friendship in our adulthood and our childhood will mold those particular barriers and those particular conceptions and rules that we have. There's things that we will tolerate, there's things that we will accept, and there's things we can build upon and move forward from in our friendships, especially with our loved ones. But then there are times as well when you just have to say, sorry, I'm throwing in the towel. This friendship isn't for me anymore. I've realised that you don't have my best intentions at heart. You don't care about me in the same regard that I care about you. Obviously, you have different models of behaviour, different models of what you think is acceptable. And you personally realise this person definitely is a frenemy. They've not got my best intentions at heart. They're out to, talk about me behind my back. They're out to say negative things about me. They're not supportive. They're not part of my circle that is supporting me to move forward in my life. And we need people like that. We need people that are not toxic. And toxic people can come in at all different levels, It's not just necessarily the negative vibes. So you have to, sometimes, it doesn't matter what age you are, whether you're in your, teens, your 20s, your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and so on. There are going to be stages in your life where you step back and you realise that person is no longer part of my friendship zone anymore. It is not easy to obviously step back for these friendships. Sometimes you have to take a natural step back, maybe stop the communicating, maybe stop associating with that person, maybe stop being involved in their inner circles sometimes, because purely for your own mindfulness and for your own sanity and your health and your mental health stability. Also to cut out the drama. Sometimes these people come with a lot of drama. You just probably don't want that. And the best thing to do is to distance yourself. The hard thing is sometimes that person's within your network. So it's not always easy to cut them out completely. But all of us have to do what we think is personally right for us. You might try your hardest to keep this frenemy within your life. And obviously you might have more and more issues down the road. And that's fine. People do that. People raise barriers, they put in particular steps of intention, steps of care, and these people walk all over it sometimes. All of us are in different stages of our life. I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to say to you, you must do this, you must do that. All of us have different friendship paths, life paths, partner paths that we have to walk down, that we have to learn from. And each of us are different, But each time, personally for me, I have to put the barriers in place and I have to say to myself, no, this is the bar you've crossed. I'm sorry, not coming back again. Everybody's different. I know other people that are more tolerant in the sense that they allow people to walk all over them because they're not putting the barriers in place. They're saying, yes, please treat me like this. Please go ahead. So we're all coming at it from very, very different angles. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. Each of us are different in the way that we deal with our particular friends or frenemies. The main thing is, are you able to spot them? Sometimes it's clear as crystal. Sometimes it takes certain relationships, it takes certain situations in your life, in your personal life, for things to happen and for you to have your eyes awoken, I guess, and for you to have a reality of this person is no longer someone that I care for because they're not on the same page as me. And it's okay to realise that. We're all at different zones. We're all at different stages with our friendships. And we just have to learn not to put up with people that are not there to support us and love us and care for us. And like I said, it takes a great, strong person to step back. Of course you're going to be betrayed. Of course you're going to feel sad and upset. And of course you're going to be mourning that period of time where you've had lovely quality friendships and, memories. But sadly, that was a part or it's a chapter of your life and you have to move forward now and make wiser, better choices. That's all there is to it. Some of us keep repeating that same cycle and some of us keep expecting that friend to be superb and to help us out. And unfortunately, we keep getting betrayed. Like I said, all of us are different. All of us accept different things. But the main thing is to look back and realise which one are us, which one are we, which one will we tolerate. Do we keep on with that friendship? Do we move forward, or do we step back? That's the decision you have to make. It's your life, your choice. All of us do it for different reasons, but the main thing is you identifying the friend that's turned into a frenemy and do something about it. I hope that makes it clearer. I'm sure it's an issue some of us have dealt with quite a lot, and sadly it does keep happening. But the main thing is that you're aware of it, that you're not, unbeknownst to you, this person is betraying you behind your back and so on. Because we deserve better as human beings. We deserve people that are on our side, that are supportive and caring and loving, not people that are going to betray us the minute our back is turned. And that's the difference. So if I were you, I'd be looking at your friends and spotting the patterns. Do you need to step back? Do you need to change? Do you need to edit? Do you need to modify some of the friendships that you've got? Because if you do, you know what you've got to do. That's all for now. Take care, be wise, be sensible, be awoke, have your eyes open to who's your friend and who's not. Take care for now. Thanks for listening.